International news. In April 1940, Germany invades Denmark and Norway. Nazi Germany invaded Scandinavia in 1940 due to Germany's naval war against the British and their American suppliers, and to protect the winter route for iron from Sweden. Unlike the invasion of Poland, the attacks on Denmark and Norway launched a permanent state of fighting in Europe that lasted right down to German defeat in May of 1945.
The invasion of the Soviet Union was originally planned to be in the spring of 1941, but the invasion was delayed because of problems in the Balkans. Hitler already had the cooperation of Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania, but the disastrous invasion of Greece exposed Hitler's southern flank to the British air bases in Greece. To fix this, Germany seized both Yugoslavia and Greece in April 1941. Hitler then invaded the Soviet Union on June 22, 1941. The Germans advanced rapidly, and by November, one German army had swept through the Ukraine, while a second was in Leningrad. Because of an early winter and Soviet resistance, the Germans were forced to stop advancing.
In the Mediterranean, Italy entered the war on June 10, 1940, with an army of 1,500,000 men, a modern navy, and a highly rated air force. The first naval action in the Mediterranean came on July 20th. It resulted in the sinking of the Italian cruiser, the Bartolomeo Colon, by an Australian cruiser, Sydney. Italy attacked Greece on October 28th, and the British, in an effort to secure the eastern Mediterranean, sent troops to the Greek island of Crete. The British struck at the Italian fleet at Taranto at November 11th and 12th. In this action, planes from carrier Illustrious damaged 3 battleships and a cruiser, crippling the Italian fleet. Stay classy.
Our guest today is Adolf Hitler. So Führer, today's topic is the exciting news about the bombing on Pearl Harbor. Did you know that the attack was going to take place?
Nein, ich habe diese Angriff nicht gewusst auf der USA.
How has Germany and Japan's relationship changed since the bombings?
Wir in Deutschland sind glücklich, dass Japan hat uns geholfen durch diesen Krieg. Und ich bin super weiß jetzt und meine Socken sind weiß auch. Und meine Umschaltung ist sehr braun. Und Deutschland ist im Besten des Welt.
What is your outlook for the rest of the war?
Wir können diesen Krieg nicht verloren. Fußball in Deutschland ist dieser beste Sport. Wir sind die Beste der Welt und die Englische sind scheiße.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing more of you in the years to come.
Dankeschön.
Now for the news on sports. In 1940, the Olympics were scheduled to take place in Tokyo, Japan, but many people from other countries planned to boycott the games. Later in the year, Japan decided to cancel the games because they believed that the games would distract them from their military goals. The games are rescheduled to take place in Helsinki, Finland.
In August 1941, Japan seized the opportunity to take air bases in the north of French Indochina when France had lost significant land to outside forces. This Japanese expansion was a quick and easy way to extend our influence.
In 1941, we issued an ultimatum to use all air bases in Indochina. When France hesitated to accept the ultimatum, Japan invaded and seized control of the whole colony. Because of this invasion, the U.S. stopped financial aid to Japan, essentially stopping our ability to buy oil. Japan was left with 2 options: give up or seize more land and up the stakes. Hideki Tojo, our aggressive general, chose to conquer more land.
Navy and Army commanders were told that they were going to take control of the far eastern territories controlled by the Netherlands, France, the U.S., and Britain. We expected a quick victory because the Americans are not expected to put up a big fight. Our commanders believe that if our fighters can destroy the U.S. Pacific Fleet, the U.S. will give up. So Isoroku Yamamoto was put in charge of the fleet that was going to attack Pearl Harbor.
As a distraction before the attack, Japanese negotiators went to Washington to discuss Japanese withdrawal from China. At 6 o'clock on December 7th, the first wave of aircraft took off. The Americans didn't know the Japanese Zero fighters were on their way. Yamamoto's plan didn't really work because the two aircraft carriers escaped the attack. The U.S. people were determined and infuriated after the attack, but before they could mobilize, Japan launched attacks on colonies in Southeast Asia. We thought we had knocked out the U.S., so we aimed at Great Britain. The first colony to be hit was Malaya.
Singapore is the center of Great Britain military and political rule in Southeast Asia, so we attacked from air. Great Britain sent battleships to attack the Japanese troops, but our bombers hit them first on December 10, 1941. This could be the greatest British disaster of the war.
It is said that the Japanese military generals will try to take over the Chinese coast, Southeast Asia, the Philippines, Dutch East Indies, and Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and the island of Midway, to make sure that they will be able to stop an attack before it reaches the homeland.
How do I stop it?
Press the little red button.
Do you want to defend yourself and your country? Well, come to our martial arts studio and we'll teach you the necessary techniques to learn bow staff to defend yourself. You get a full year of instruction for only monthly payments of $39.95 and a free t-shirt. Call today.
In odd news, fruitcake was sealed to be sold in 70 years just for charity. In local news, at the time of attack on Pearl Harbor, the Yasuki Maru was based at Kwajalein. On December 20th, 1941, she was assigned to the 3rd Submarine Division. The Sunuki Maru was one of 2 motor ships built for the Nippon Yusen Kashiya Line for service between Japan and Europe via the Suez Canal.
Today, for our Did You Know segment, we have a viewer from our studio audience to try and answer a few questions. Why do some men in Japan shave their heads? A, for fun, B, for fashion, or C, to show they are sorry for something they did?
For fashion?
No, it's C, to show they are sorry for something they did. When was the movie Pinocchio released? A, February 7th, 1941, B, March 23rd, 1939, or C, December 5th, 1941?
B.
A, February 7th, 1941. What car was invented in 1941? A, Packard 110, B, the Jeep, or C, Ford Deluxe Coupe?
The Jeep.
Yes.
Woo!
When was Mount Rushmore completed? A, 1935, B, 1939, or C, 1941?
1939.
1941.
I was close.
What kind of paintings were found in France in 1940? A, realistic paintings, B, abstract paintings, or C, cave paintings?
A.
C, cave paintings. In 1940, how was Leon Trotsky assassinated? A, starved to death, B, stabbed in the skull with an ice pick, or C, suicide?
C.
B, stabbed in the skull with an ice pick. Which team won the 1940 World Series championships? A, the Cincinnati Reds, B, Boston Red Sox, or C, the Seattle Mariners?
The Seattle Mariners.
No, A, the Cincinnati Reds. Did you know younger sumo wrestlers are traditionally required to clean and bathe the veteran sumo wrestlers at their stables, including all the hard-to-reach places?
That's so interesting.
Thanks for joining us, and don't forget, Leon Trotsky thinks you're hot ski.
To think